Joe Zekas from YoChicago.com. I'm at Lake Shore Park with Marshall and Janice, who have, from everything I've heard, done yeoman work in maintaining the landscaping of the park and creating the landscaping of the park.
Well, we moved into the city from the suburbs about 6 or 7 years ago, and this park was here. It's an old park built on landfill many years ago, but the plantings and the soil were dismal. So we started buying plants and improving the soil and trying to make the park a nicer place to come and visit. And I think we've had some success in doing it. We certainly had a lot of fun doing it. Janice and I have been working on it for this past 5 years. And doing a garden is an incremental process.
From what I understand, all of the tree surrounds here are your creations.
Yes, what we did was cleaned out the weeds that had inhabited the park, and then filled in with perennial plants. There's so many plants that you couldn't really do it easily if they were annuals and you had to replace them every year. So what we've concentrated on is a variety of perennial plants that are hardy, can stand the cold and Chicago's winters when it gets cold in Chicago, and also deal with the extreme heat.
How would you know which plants would survive here and which would thrive?
Well, we've been gardeners. Trial and error. Janice said we've been gardeners, or while we were in the suburbs, and we did a lot of work there. I always enjoyed it, so reading and trial and error. Some plants make it, some don't. I don't think you can take it personally. You just keep on going, pick out something else and give it a shot. Some of the annuals that we tried over the years just didn't make it. This is a very hot spot, and the winds are always noticeably greater here down at the lakefront. So we had to buy plants that are not water dependent. I mean, every plant needs water, but some really could not survive the heat. As far as the winter, we've lost a few things over the winter here, but not too bad. Yeah, it's been okay.
And we've the last couple of years we're focusing more on perennials, so that we don't have, the huge amount of work to do in the spring. We can show you a garden that Marshall put in a couple of years ago that this year, except for the marigolds, is all perennials, and I think it's a remarkable garden. It came from nothing. It came from rock and not even weeds. I don't even think weeds grew there. And gravel, and he with peat moss and perlite and vermiculite and other compounds just made it into, I think, a gorgeous garden.
We're about as far to the east as you can go. Go another 50 feet and you're going to get wet. But this garden we started a couple of years ago. It was a weed-infested area. We cleaned it out and we put in a number of plants. It
wasn't even weeds. It was gravel and rock and nothing. And I think this is just it's a little garden, but I think it's just remarkable. And as I said before, this year, except for the marigolds, this garden is completely filled with perennials.
I think we've seen maybe a dozen gardens that you maintain here.
Yeah.
How much time do you spend on this?
He spends, I would say, he's going to say no. On an average day, he's out here six hours. On an average day, and sometimes more.
Yeah, it's wonderful exercise. I think I know half the people in the neighborhood. They come by, they stop, they're walking their dogs, they say thank you, and it's an energizing feeling. And more people are using the park, more people are picnicking, and that puts a smile on my face.
That's absolutely amazing. 6 hours a day.
At least.
At least.
Yeah.
Wow. So you're not a golf widow, at least.
Pardon me?
You're not a golf widow, at least.
No,
I never
I'm a
played
flower
golf.
widow.
I'm a flower widow.
You're a flower widow.
I'm the official waterer of the plants. We went and bought all these amazing perennials, and this is how it turned out. This is a tough year because we're in a drought situation, so watering becomes a big issue, but we've got lilies. This is a plant called Artemisia, and it's you can see it's spreading, and it's just a really beautiful plant.
Do you have access to water here?
Well, we do. There's sprinkler. There are hoses, but you know there's no sprinkler system, so it's all hand watering, and it's a huge job because we have lots and lots of gardens here.
What we're looking at here is a garden that I actually put in this morning, and therefore it's being slowly watered over the day. Hopefully it'll make it through the heat. Again, perennials, a lot of Pachysandra, lady's mantle. That's mostly it, but very hardy, easy to take care of.
You've purchased all these materials yourself.
Yes, correct.
Where do you shop, and how does this get here? Do you have to bring it, or do they deliver?
No, they don't. They do deliver, but I usually pick it up. We have a car that unfortunately is quite commodious in the rear. Back seats pushed down, and we can get quite a bit in. We go to Home Depot when I need a lot of plants. If I'm looking for more the specimen type plant, we go to Gethsemane on the north side of Chicago, and they're very, very nice. And this garden that we're standing next to is a shade garden, and all the plants here very well with perhaps an hour of sunshine during the day. Not as colorful because it's a bit early, but lilies will open soon. They're starting to open. A lot of hostas, which are wonderful plants. There's a hosta right behind the tree there. One plant.
The soil conditions had to be less than ideal.
Yes, that's an understatement. I kept digging here looking for bodies and bones and whatever I could find, but mostly what happened when they extended Chicago from Michigan Avenue all the way here to the lake and backfilled it with all sorts of trash, and then they put a few inches of soil to cover it over.
Marshall takes hand-me-down plants from any building that's redoing their landscaping. A lot of the plants inside the playground over there, he got all of them actually. He got from a building that was taking out its landscaping, and he had been walking by and called the owners and asked if he could have the plants. And of course they said yes, and so now that's another garden with that looks a whole lot better than it did prior.
What's left to do? It looks like you're running out of new ventures, or are you?
Well,
he's determined to get every weed out of this park.
Well, no. I think that everybody who, whether you save stamps or whatever, it's never ending. You can always find something to do. With gardens, you could thin it or put something new in there, move things around. So it's a job that you can do as much or as little as you care to do.
Are you a loner on this, Marshall, or are you open to accepting help?
Well, help is very much appreciated. There are several people in the neighborhood who pitch in, but basically Janice and I do most of the heavy lifting, shall I say. Fortunately, we were able to look down upon our gardens. We have a cup of coffee in the morning. I like to get out early. It's cooler, and you just feel good for doing it. That's all I do.
Janice, Marshall, I thank you for taking the time, and I think everybody in Chicago thanks you for taking a lot of your time.
Our pleasure, and you're more than welcome.